With me now to discuss Trump, DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, you name it. We're going to talk about it with Eric Ham. Good morning, Eric. Good to see you this morning. Let's begin with Donald Trump back in New York this morning. He wanted to deliver his own remarks, as you and I discussed earlier in the week, but the judge said no. What happened?
That's right. The judge actually pulled the carpet from under Trump and said that he would not allow this to happen. And of course, we know all of this is coming as we know this morning there was a bomb threat at the judge's house, which is why this trial is being delayed. But these will be the closing arguments in a case that could see Donald Trump's total business empire upended, with the New York Attorney General, of course, asking for a fine of more than $370 million. And when it initially started, she was asking for $250 million. So we now see that this number has risen dramatically. And of course, this comes just a few days before the Iowa caucuses. And so it's a wonder if, in fact, this will have any impact on Donald Trump's standing as he looks to wrap up things in Iowa.
Well, it doesn't seem to be, does it, Eric? If you look at the polls, he's still far ahead from the competition, and that leads nicely into last night's debate. Let's discuss as Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis faced off for the last time before Iowa votes. What was your big takeaway from last night? Do you think that there was a winner?
Well, yes, there was an undoubted winner, and it wasn't either of these two candidates that was standing on the stage. It was actually Donald Trump, who was doing his own town hall on another network, Fox News, where he was able to be very engaging, very cunning, very, very, very funny, very, very personable with the audience. And it looked as though Donald Trump was the titular front runner and the presumptive GOP nominee. Whereas when we looked at the debate between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, the sparring between the two began almost immediately. And this was more of an event where the two really tried to tear each other down. And Donald Trump was just hovering above the fray in his 1 hour Fox town hall. And I thought it was very, very savvy of Donald Trump to not participate in that debate and do a town hall that actually showed just how far apart he is from these two competitors.
But he raised a few eyebrows when asked about a decision on his running mate. He basically said he's already chosen the person.
Again, this is Donald Trump being Donald Trump, and we know Donald Trump knows how to keep people engaged. And he says that he's already chosen someone, and he perhaps probably already has. Remember when he announced the judges who he would name to the Supreme Court? That was something that he had done before actually wrapping up the nomination. He worked very closely with the Federalist Society, came up with names. And of course, that was one way that he went in terms of endearing himself with the conservative far right.
And just hours before Haley, DeSantis, and Trump on a different network took to the stage last night, Chris Christie announced that he was dropping out of the race. Will this exit give either Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis a boost? Where will Christie's supporters go now?
Well, this was actually a huge boon to Nikki Haley, particularly in New Hampshire, where we know that's the only place that Chris Christie has really campaigned and invested heavily. And so that is likely to make New Hampshire a very close race between Nikki Haley and Donald Trump, which is why I was so surprised to watch her last night allow herself to be sucked into a back and forth with Ron DeSantis, because clearly this was now shaping up to be a two-person race. And where I thought that she would actually look presidential and try to stand apart, she simply didn't do that. And of course, we know Iowa is the only place that Ron DeSantis has staked his presidency. And so all eyes for him are going to be on Iowa. But no matter what happens out of Iowa, Nikki Haley does live to see another day, particularly in New Hampshire, where she actually is competitive. And so this was a win for Nikki Haley. Unfortunately, she just didn't take advantage of it last night in that debate.
Eric, thank you so much. Eric Ham is our CTV News political analyst.